Good morning Year 6 and welcome to this week's maths video. As always, we're going to start with some Fluent in 5, but then we're going to move on to learning to calculate mean. So here is your Fluent in 5. Please pause the video, have a go, and I'll go through the answers in a second. So hopefully you pause the video. Number 1 was 630. Number 2 was 4,038,332. Number 3, the missing number, 1,131. Number 4, 3, and number 5, 3/5. Well done if you got that right. So, the mean. The mean is the average, and you've probably heard the word average more than you have mean. And we use it to find the average number of something or the average amount of something. For example, if I wanted to know the average age of my class, I would use the mean. I would add up the different ages of everybody in our class, and I would divide it by 29 because there's 29 people in the class, and that would give me the average age of somebody in my class. It wouldn't be the age of everybody in the class because there's different ages, but it would be the average. So, how do you do it? Like I said, you add up all of the values to find the total, and then you divide your total by the number of values you added together. So, if we wanted to find out the average number of counters these 3 people would have, we know that in reality, Scott has 2, Danny has 7, and Kim has 3. But in order to find out how many they have as an average, or to find the mean number of counters, we would need to add them all together and then divide it into our 3 groups. And we divide it by 3 because we've got 3 people. So we'd put all of their counters together and then share it into 3 groups. And that gives us 4 in a group. That tells us that the average, the mean number of counters is 4. Now it's not the exact number of counters because Scott has less, so does Kim, and Danny has more. But it's the mean, it's the average. And you can use it in real life scenarios. People often use the average if they want to know how much of something to buy or what to accommodate for. So if I wanted to know the mean, the average, number of people visiting a cafe each day during the week, how would I work that out? So I've got my days of the week, and I've got my visitors for each of those days. So what I do is step 1, I find the total. I find out how many people visited that cafe in that week altogether. And using words like total and altogether, I know I'm adding them up. So I add all of my numbers together. And that gives me 154. So I know that during that week, 154 people visited my cafe. My step 2 is then to divide my number, 154, by the number of days in a week. And that's because that's how many values I have. I have 7. So I divide my 154 by 7. So my total number of visitors, by adding up all my different figures, was 154. I then divide it by 7 because there's 7 days in the week. And that gives me 22. That tells me the average number of visitors is 22, or the mean is 22. Now for some days, that's a little bit high, and for others, it's a little bit low. But it's an average. So, over to you. What I would like you to do is to find the mean of each set of numbers. So can you see how you've got some numbers here and then a box, and then some more numbers? What I would like you to do is find the mean of these, find the mean of these, and find the mean of these. Pause it, have a go. Then, we've got collections of football cards. The table shows how many football cards have been collected over 4 years. So here's your each individual years, and here is how many were collected each year. I need you to work out the mean number of cards collected per year, the average they collected every year. Think about how you'd work that out. Pause the video and have a go. So, answers. So if I was to add 3, 2, 7, 4 and 4 together, and then divide it by 5, I'd get 4.6. Again, add them together and divide it by how many I've got, I'd get 9, and add them all together and divide it by how many I've got, and I get 5.1. Now, it's okay for an average to be a decimal, because it's not the exact amount, it's just the average. And again, for the football cards, I've added my number of cards for each year together to get 344. And then I have divided by 4 because there were 4 years. And that means the mean number of cards collected per year was 86. Very well done. And I'll see you tomorrow for more maths videos.